Hey everybody, how's it going? Josh here, and today we're going to talk about Godzilla. More specifically, kind of talk about how Godzilla is going to defeat King Ghidorah plus Rodan. He's likely not going to have to fight Mothra. Usually Mothra is an ally. Throughout this movie, we know that Godzilla is going to come into contact with probably one of them individually, so I wouldn't be surprised if Godzilla fought Rodan one-on-one, so to speak. But more than likely, it's probably Godzilla fighting King Ghidorah one-on-one, and then likely him fighting again later on with the aid of Mothra, both Rodan and King Ghidorah. With that being said, Godzilla is going to need quite the upgrade. I mean, it's kind of customary, throughout the hero's journey, throughout a lot of movies, the protagonist will gain some sort of increase in power, increase of ability to some degree. I mean, at the Iron Man movie level, it's usually a new suit of armor. But for Godzilla, the question kind of comes up, well, what would his power-up be? And not only what would his power-up be, how would he acquire said power-up? Because you can't make the same excuse you would for a character like Kong, which is usually, oh, Kong's just young, so he's still growing, he'll get more powerful, just due to his age. You can't really make that same excuse, I guess you could say, for Godzilla because Godzilla's already very old. So if there were some sort of maturity-related power-ups that Godzilla would get, likely he would already have them by now. So another avenue must be explored for Godzilla to have a so-called power-up. And this is where some rumors and stuff like that from the movie so far come into play. There's a big rumor in the movie that King Ghidorah is going to basically whoop Godzilla's butt, and it's going to be pretty bad. And on top of that, there's a rumor that while Godzilla and King Ghidorah are having their fight, the world governments, they will drop the oxygen destroyer, or at least some sort of representation iteration of the oxygen destroyer on top of Godzilla and King Ghidorah. This is gonna obviously weaken both of them, you would think, but especially Godzilla, because in previous iterations, the oxygen destroyer is very much so known for being made to combat Godzilla and stuff like that. So you kind of ask yourself, well, if they're weakening Godzilla, how is Godzilla gonna come back stronger than not only he was before, but stronger to the point where he could beat characters like King Ghidorah and also potentially Rodan on top of that if Rodan's allied with King Ghidorah? And this is where we kind of go into some of the things that have also been laid out before. We know Godzilla gets his powers from radiation, geothermal energy, things like that, in a similar way to how the Mutos got their energy from radiation, and they would always target power plants. So it's very much likely, and we know Godzilla can survive nukes as well, as we saw in the previous Godzilla movie. So it's very possible that Godzilla will receive his powers in a way like that. Obviously, humanity is going to make the mistake. I mean, we kind of saw it in the trailer where King Ghidorah is pretty much wreaking havoc on Washington, D.C. So I'm going to go on a limb here and say that King Ghidorah survives the oxygen destroyer, and it hurts Godzilla a lot more than it hurts him. And in the process, King Ghidorah kind of lays waste to a big chunk of the world, specifically like places like Washington, D.C. Using the trailer as kind of evidence for at least that type of claim, likely humanity is going to decide, at least Monarch is going to decide, we need Godzilla back. And not only do we need Godzilla back, we need him at his utmost power as possible. I'm going to say that likely learning from the past and kind of learning what Godzilla's weaknesses are and his strengths and what kind of powers a character like Godzilla, they will likely drop a nuke on Godzilla or something that has a lot of radiation with it, such as a nuke. And that will likely not only power up Godzilla, but since Godzilla is commonly powered by nukes and radiation and things like that, he'll likely reach a whole new state, maybe similar to kind of like the burning Godzilla. And this kind of upgrade would definitely be more than enough to combat someone like King Ghidorah. Now the question really remains that, alright, let's say we get a burning Godzilla of sorts, right? We get basically like the Super Saiyan of Godzillas. How long does that last? Does that last at the end of this movie, going into Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus Kong? Because if so, then you have to ask yourself, how is Kong going to stand a chance against a Godzilla with an upgrade such as that? But more than likely, it'll be one of those upgrades that lasts just enough for Godzilla to take on King Ghidorah and win. And then after that, it'll probably fade off and he'll return to normal states. Comment below your guys' thoughts. What do you think that, Godzilla is going to go through in this movie that will give him this edge against King Ghidorah? Because I doubt Mothra will be enough to simply take down King Ghidorah and Rodan, or even just King Ghidorah by itself. So comment below your guys' thoughts, and we'll see you guys later.